Hello YouTube, SWEbass here. Welcome to Sweden.
Sweden? There's no bass in Sweden.
That's true, there is no bass in Sweden. So what is this channel all about? Well, I'm gonna tell you. For a lot of years I've been a big fan of American bass fishing. You know, tournaments, I'm watching the classic, I'm watching all the tutorials on the internet, I'm reading a lot about it. I'm updated lore-wise, and you know, it's just a really interesting thing that your country, USA, has built this gigantic industry around fishing, which is my big hobby. And that's my dream, catching a bass. Before I die, I'd like to catch at least one bass. But it can be a bit hard in Sweden because we don't have one. There's no bass. We've got a lot of other species, but no bass. The truth is that in 1960s or 1970s, I've read it online, a couple of guys and some organization plus Garcia, the real manufacturer from Sweden, they tried planting in bass somewhere in Sweden, but it didn't go well. It's a bit too cold here, and so there's no possibility to fish bass in Sweden. We've got, however, pike and sander, which is like walleye, and then we've got perch. And I'm a big fan of perch fishing because it's a near cousin of bass, so I like to fish perch. I don't like fishing pike, and in Sweden there's a big community of people fishing pike, but I feel that it's not that interesting to troll for fish and or cast those gigantic couple of pounds jerk baits, handmade jerk baits that cost a couple of hundreds, and the rods used are like musky rods. They're like broomstick shafts. So that's not my thing. But I thought, as I like bass fishing, and we've got perch in Sweden, why not conduct an experiment where I use the tackle used in US here in Sweden and try to catch perch. And I know that there is perch in US as well, or at least smaller species that look like perch and behave like perch. So I thought, let's give it a try. Let's make a channel of it and let the pros, people fishing bass, say what they think about it, if they have some tips, if they have some information that could be useful for me. And all the lures and all the rods and all the reels that I used in the techniques that you use, and so I thought it would be nice to have a feedback and try and translate the American bass fishing here in Europe, fishing for perch. So when you're fishing for perch in Sweden, you're gonna use like a spinner bait, but not American spinner bait, not this type of spinner bait. You're gonna use old school spinner baits like this one, and exactly this model has been out there for, it's an Garcia. It's been out there for 50 years at least, and it's no fun using the same stuff that your grandfather used. I mean, there's no innovation in that, right? And how can you get better, how can you get edge fishing if you always use those old old baits, stuff like that is so popular for perch in Sweden. Then we've got some plugs, we've got some crankbaits, and this here is even older, it's high-low from Garcia. I mean, it's great bait, man, it's really great. you know, it gives results, but then again, there's perhaps something that is, you know, better at catching fish than this, and but if you continue using that stuff, you're never gonna know. So that's what's used in Sweden. And I got, you know, fed up by it, and I said let's start this channel, let's, you know, import some stuff from US and see what happens. And so I went online, tacklewarehouse.com, and I started, you know, putting stuff in my shopping cart, and I mainly focused on soft baits, finesse soft baits, as perch is a bit smaller than bass. Like the biggest perch caught 2014 was 5.5 pound, 2.5 kilos. So it's not that big. I mean, 5.5 pound. I've seen guys in classic catching 5 of those, and you know, in one day, 5.5 pound perch in Sweden is a lifetime thing, you know. So they're a bit smaller. So I thought, hey, let's go finesse fishing. And so God damn. I also bought a SWEbass rod, and that's the second problem. There are no rods in Sweden that are capable of doing the stuff that American rods are, and that's mainly because we're using different stuff here. So a spinning rod like that with medium power will be, you know, a lot longer. This here is the wacky style, a lot longer, and it will not be medium power, not the American medium power. That's because, you know, rods like that, around 6.5, 7 foot, they use the jerk pike, and you know, you casting stuff that is, you know, really huge, and so it's really hard to get good rods here that will be able to drive those jig hooks, for example, into the fish's mouth. So I had to import this one. It's a SWEbass wacky style, really great. I mean, that's impressive. Then I bought a reel here in Sweden. It's a Shimano Katana 2.5K with some Invisibraid, 0.70 millimeters. It's a 10 pound test, I believe. And then I've got a trilene leader. Trilene is one of the, you know, you can get that much more than trilene in a fluorocarbon way in Sweden. So it's a trilene. It's I don't know, 14.5 or 15 pound test, 0.24 millimeters, and that's what I'm using right now. And then I've got another rod that I bought in Sweden with a casting reel from Shimano that I'm using for jigs. Alright, so I've got a couple of new packs of the trilene stuff. That's what I'm using. I don't know if you have it in US. If you do have any, you know, anything to say about this one, perhaps propose some other fluorocarbon line, just let me know. And so I've bought a lot of stuff from US, so plastic-ish, and I want to show you that so that you can say what I need more, or if I should focus on something else in my fishing for perch. It was quite pricey to get all this stuff here. I mean, Sweden has got, you know, world's biggest taxes, and I had to pay, man. I've got some salty super tubes from Zoom. I've got black red flake and green pumpkin. I was trying to go for, you know, two different colors at least, one darker and one lighter, as I've heard on YouTube from the community that you have to use more natural color when it's you know, good weather and clear water, and then darker colors when it's bad weather or murky water. Then I've got some bass intimidators. I was gonna use them for drop shot mostly, but you tell me if they're any good. Then I've got some for drop shot. I bought a Z-Man scented leech. Really like those on the pictures, and I bought those. That's gonna be for drop shot as well. I do like drop shotting. And drop shot is actually one technique that came to Sweden a couple of years ago, and it's widely used now, perhaps not for pike but for sander, walleye-ish, and for other stuff, but for perch as well. Then I've bought worms. These are Ultra Vibes, I believe. Ultra Vibe Speed Worm, Watermelon Red, and California 420. I've got some June bag in Mag 2, some Magnum 2, I believe. Then I've got some lizards, mini lizards. I went down in the sizes, so to speak, to, you know, I'm not fishing bass, so I don't know if I can throw those big salamanders and stealing it and catch perch. I want to, you know, if I can, I don't want to get pike. I want to focus on perch, and therefore I went down in sizes. Pike can be a real asshole, you know, tearing your stuff up, and there's a lot of pike. I mean, if there's a lot of something in Sweden, it's pike, alright, in Texas, but pike. They're tearing up this shit, and you know, it's a big pain in the ass, and they can also snag my it has never happened, but they can snag fluorocarbon if they're too big. So I wanted to go down in sizes and be a bit more finessey. Then I've got some I don't know what they call now. I think I've thrown the label away. Those centipedes, really nice ones. I love how they, you know, go in the water. How about those? They were cheap as well. That's another thing. All this stuff, I mean, it was pricey to get it to Sweden, to import it and pay taxes for it. But the stuff itself is like 1/4 of what it would cost in Sweden. It's amazing. And some missile baits. I was thinking about, you know, rig it, Texas rig it with no weight, so weightless, or perhaps as a jig trailer. But you tell me what I can do more with that. I don't want to punch it, as I don't have a rod that would be capable of punching into, you know, mats. And we've got a lot of mats in Sweden as well, especially in the summer. But tell me what I can do with that in order to get perch. Then I've got some shads and shanks. I've got some fluke from Zoom. I've tested it on I've Texas rigged it, and I've tested it as a jerk. Really great stuff. Then I've got some creepy craws in a lot of lakes around me. There's a lot of craws or crowfish like creatures. So and perch love craw. I mean, they I've read an article the other day that said that almost half of their diet is craw. So I think that's the same scenario in US with the bass. Anyways, I got those. I've got pumpkin, and I've got watermelon red. I've got some, this is domestic stuff, I've got some Berkeley power bait, we've got a lot of Berkeley stuff here. Pearl watermelon shad. It's got a bubble of air inside. Never caught anything with it. And they're really pricey. I mean, there's like 3 of them in a pack and they cost like 100 Swedish crowns. That's, you know. Drop craw from missile baits. I've tried it on drop shot. I got some action with it. Really nice stuff. It's a green pumpkin. Then I've got some. I bought three different chunks, trailers. As I've got, you know, I've got some beavers and other stuff that I can use as a trailer. So I bought only 3 of those to try them out. I've got Denny Brower chunk, and it's a green pumpkin. I've got Ultra Vibe chunk from Zoom, watermelon seed. I've got peanut butter and jelly. Love those names. And then I've got some Bass Assassin something. I don't know what that is. Rainbow trout split tail. Rainbow trout split tail. 4 inches. 10 pack. I don't know what this is. I was thinking drop shotting with those. I think they were cheap, so I bought them. You tell me. Now, I've watched a video with beavers and how versatile they are, so I bought a couple of packs of the Reaction Innovations Smalley Beaver. I've got fried watermelon, and I've got Sweet Beaver California 420. I've got me some Sweet Beaver Dirty Sanchez. I like the name. I got some more Dirty Sanchez. I really like the name. I got 2 packs of that. And then Big Texan. I like this color. I think it's gonna do well in my lakes. I know that's not a lot of stuff, guys, but mind that I just bought it, you know, for a couple of weeks ago, and we do not have that stuff in Sweden. That's halfway around the earth to get those. I've got some tiny brush hog. As I said before, I want to go down in sizes. I've got a couple of wave worms. They were on sale on Tackle Warehouse, so I bought them. They're really beefy, man. I've tried them, and you know, you can really feel them on they almost weightless when you have them in your fingers, but when they're in the water, they give you such a big profile that they really feel. You can really feel them. That's New Orleans, and I've got some chartreuse tail brown. I don't know. Doesn't say. How can it? Doesn't say. Chartreuse tail. I don't know. I've got some bamboo stick laminate New Orleans. I've got 2 of those. Oh, didn't know that. And then I said, hey, let's go a bit crazy, and I bought me some pure chartreuse color. They smell really nice. I mean, I could almost eat one of those just to try what they taste like. Really good smell. And some more tiny brush hog watermelon red. I've got some Z-Man Finesse TRD green pumpkin. It's, you know, you can barely see that it's a green pumpkin. It's almost black. But what I like about those, and I bought it to drop shot with it. That's nice. And then some Super Salt Plus Centipede cotton candy. So that's that. You tell me what you think about my choice of soft plastic. I wanted to, you know, go around, you know, to get at least, you know, a couple of different creatures and a couple of different worms, so that I can try, you know, Senko and Wacky Style and Shaky Head and Texas Rig'em and Mojo Rig'em and all that, and see what works. But you tell me what you think about it. Okay. Then I went on, and I, of course, I bought me some bullet weights to be able to rig tungsten. Bought me some pegs. I bought me some Shaky Head and some Wacky Style heads. I don't know what they call. Then I've got some, you know, I've got drop shot stuff and all that. It's in Sweden. I couldn't find a pure Mojo Bass stuff, so I bought those. It's Phoenix Finesse slider weight. I don't know if it would work for Mojo rigging. You tell me. Some drop shot shit, and I bought that as well. So I'm able to rig them almost any way I want it. Then I've got, I bought some finesse jigs with the rattle. I don't really remember what the name of those is, and I think that I've got the pack somewhere, but I bought those, a couple of those, and then I bought some. This one I know it's called a spot remover, and it's got a screw, or not a screw, but you know. So I got a spot remover. I've got some very, very tiny, very tiny, what you call them, jigs. I'm gonna put them back. And then I got some bigger ones, like these ones. That's Danny Brower, I know it. It's Danny Brower something. It's a football jig, and here I've got some structure jig, I think. I've put on a trailer to see how it works in water. So I've reviewed all this in water. Here I've got some football jig and PBJ jig with a PBJ trailer. That's a structure one, and then some more football. So I've got, you know, I've got some stuff to try out. And that's another thing, you know. Here I've put a beaver on this football jig to give it a bigger profile, but it didn't work because it's really cold. I've been fishing for a month, and it's really cold in Sweden right now. So that's another thing. In Sweden, you will, when you talk about jigs, what you will throw is, you're gonna throw some shit like that. It's a simple twister, or you know, some grab, and you're gonna put it on a head like that, and you're gonna throw it out. 9 casts of 10, you're gonna snag it or something like that, get under a tree or some other shit, and you're gonna lose it. And it, you know, it never gives you that much fish. And I wonder if anyone ever caught something on that stuff. Perhaps if you made it weed, I don't know, but that's what people throw here, and that's jigging in Sweden. And I'm really, you know, I don't like it, because I can throw stuff like that and never get snagged, you know, and never get in trouble snagging off my stuff. I don't know why Europeans are so slow in adapting the techniques, and jig, I mean, jig has been out there for a lot of time, and people often say that, what I've heard on the internet, people say that, oh, you know, if I could choose one lure, it would be a jig because it's so versatile. You can swim it, you can flip it, you can, you know. And and I can see that I've tried those, and you know, you can really cast them, you know, precisely where you want to, in, you know, in a pocket somewhere, and really nice stuff. And I've lost perhaps one of I don't know. No, yeah, I've lost one a week ago, I think. But that's it. I've been fishing a lot of those, and just to see how do I was hungry for jigging after I've seen all your videos, and that's a great lure. But then again, it's not available in Sweden, so I have to get it from Tackle Warehouse. But hey, I got a free T-shirt, so I've got some Mega Strike something. I don't know what it is called, big bag or big old bag. I don't know. Some Lancaster City stuff, but it's nothing interesting. Then I've got some no, nothing more here. Then I got some crankbaits, man, and those were a bit pricier than I would want them to, but I've got some Normans, and I've got some bombers, I believe they're called. I've got some Strike Kings square bill here, and I don't know if that's a bomber square bill. I've got some Raplas. Raplas are available here in Sweden, they do. And I've got some more Normans, I think. I like this one. It's a perch. Exactly what I want. And you know, all different depths, all different colors. I got like 20, 25 of those, and that was quite a big investment. I've got some more Raplas, and even a teeny tiny ultralight crank for perch. And then I even got a couple of those big bad boys. And then I have some popping stuff, you know, topwater stuff. This is a Rapala Fire Tiger. I don't know if all this stuff I'm showing you I bought on Tackle Warehouse. I could get it somewhere before, but these here I know that I bought in Sweden. Those are Berkeley Frenzy Frog, I think. Quite nice. And so I bought some crankbaits. I have some spinner baits. I've got a couple of those, but this is a black one. And then I have some, you know, terminal. I've got some hooks, and I've got some terminal tackle. I'm not gonna get it all out. I've got mostly gamakatsu and decoy. And then I've got some pegs and stuff like that. Sizes 1/0 and 2/0 mostly. And then I've got some finesse wide gap for gamakatsu finesse wide gap 4/0 for wacky style, and then I've got something more for Senkos, I think. No, octopus, that's for drop shot, I believe, 1/0. Yeah, wacky style is Senko, okay. So that's what I've got, babe. That's what I've got. Now, you comment on what I've bought. You say what you think is gonna give me most fish in the season. I'm gonna try and do videos at least once a week, perhaps a couple of times a week. It depends. I'm currently studying at the university, so and you tell me what you think is gonna work best. And the biggest question I've got is what should my next rod be? I really like the St. Croix stuff. I've always, you know, loved it. They're not available in Sweden, so that's a bit more, you know, unique feeling to that. So I'm looking for a St. Croix, perhaps a G Loomis. It all depends on the price and, you know, I don't know, warranty, as I live overseas. But you tell me what you think. Which rod should I buy next? I was thinking about the glass rod from St. Croix. It's Mojo Bass Crank? No? Mojo Glass Bass? Mojo Bass Glass. I don't know. It's the glass rod. It's for crankbait. I was thinking about that, and perhaps a Shimano. I do like Shimanos, so I'm gonna go with Shimanos. Although I'm Swedish, I do not like the low profile bait casters that Ob does, and it's mainly because it's, you know, they're made somewhere in Taiwan or China, and Shimano is perhaps made there as well, but I don't know. It feels like they've got some more, you know, they're more smooth, and then they're, you know, I don't know. Shimano is an old company as well. I do like Obligacia's big profile stuff like this here, Revo Rocket. I use it for fishing what is called salmon. They're really nice. They're really nice, and they're made in Sweden, you know. So that's quality. That's quality. But I was thinking about loose. You know, a lot of people like them, but there's always gonna be, you know, different tastes and stuff like that. But you tell me what rod and what reel you would recommend for my, you know, what I'm trying to do here, and we're gonna see. I was thinking about cranking rod or about some jig rod. Now I don't know if I want to buy a flipping rod. I want something more all around. As I said before, I'm gonna pay a lot of taxes on that stuff, and even though Mojo Bass rods are quite cheap, like $120, I'm gonna pay a lot of money for the shipping and then for taxes on top of that. So that's the whole, you know, the whole price, shipping plus stuff that you're buying times the taxes. So tell me what you think I should buy, if it should be a flipping stick, or if there is some other kind of all-around jig rod, or should I buy a crank rod. I've got some jerk baits as well that I'm using with my other rod. I've got some Rapalas Husky Jerk, it's called. Really like them. They go really well in water, so perhaps a jerk bait. I don't know, something that works with perch. I know that Pike love the jigs, so I was thinking about jigs, and then I've got a lot of crankbaits, so, and I want to be able to cast them as, you know, you professional American bass fishermen, anglers do. So you tell me. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, or comment at least, or give it a like, something that I know, so that I know that you're watching this and that there's a point in doing these videos. I'm gonna conduct this experiment anyways, but it would be nice to have some help from you guys, and you perhaps are, you know, interested in how it's gonna work in colder weather and stuff like that. So see you around, guys. Thank you.